JB here, JB here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. Wednesday, November 26th, 3:20 on this fine afternoon. Talk really quick about the market. Some names looking at go from there. Happy early Thanksgiving. I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. S&P looks like it's going to finish its fourth straight session in the green. SPY's up about 9/10%, a stone throw away from being up 1%. Just a monster four sessions since the Friday. I don't even know what name you want to slap on last Friday, but just strong, right? I wouldn't say that Friday morning or I would say after Thursday sell off a lot of folks, on edge. Is this the start of some crazy pull? And just like we've had over the last, especially this year, the buyers came in and it's like back to our regularly scheduled melt up. So good stuff here. Back over the 50-day moving average on the SPY. You try and look for headlines today to see what they're rationalizing this move for. It's just market is pricing in a the Fed cutting rates at December 10th meeting. Whatever you want to throw at it, that's what the catalyst of the day is. Yields continue to go lower. The 10 years under 4%. So all good stuff here. My concern over a four session rally like this is at some point there's going to be some kind of a premium crush pull. I know it'll be like an annoying pull. I'm not, calling 1% down day, but whether it's going to be like a POTUS tweet that we've seen over the last 10 months where it's Friday afternoon and some kind of tweet comes out that kills call positions. I don't know what it'll be. So that's what I'm a little wary of. But, at the same token, maybe we're going to head up to all-time highs from back in September in a matter of a couple, well, should I say, excuse me, in October. So, let's see here. Sorry about that, folks. So that's kind of, over the 50 days, 679 was a big spot on the SPY. So if we can hold that here today, and then Friday is my favorite day of the year. Well, outside of the Christmas Eve. I don't know if it's a half day this year. I'll have to go check. But half days, like market close at 1. To me, it's like all the action happens at the start of the day, the first half hour or so, at the end of the day. So when you kind of get rid of the boring space, and it's not always boring, makes for a lot more interesting a session. But anyway, so that's kind of the overall markets. No big catalyst either. I'm trying to think of any news. We had the weekly jobless claims came out better than expectations. You kind of want to see, unfortunately, weaker data, but hey, we'll take the good data here. All right, so that's kind of the overall markets. Just quick on individual names. It's one of those the last couple of weeks. It's like one of those weeks where I almost get nervous grabbing something because every time I get a position, like it goes the right direction, and a lot of times it happens quick. And then I don't want to be overconfident and then just ruin the mojo, the momentum. But like crazy stuff over the last couple of weeks. But today, so at the open, the plan was the Reddit position that I had the 215s, closing the rest of those out, and then riding the 235s into next week. Reddit did what it seems to every day. The option market on Reddit doesn't open at like 9:33, and it's not even like they have a set time. It's not like, oh, Reddit opens at 9:33 and 30 seconds. Some days it's 9:35. Sometimes it's 9:37. But the craziest thing I've never, so many stocks it doesn't on. Top of my head, I can't think of some of the recent ones, but frustrating. Oracle, right? Oracle on Friday, I think it did the same thing. Oracle options didn't open till like 9:31, and my puts, thankfully, allowed me to hold on for some more gains because if I had sold it right at the open. All right, so anyway, so once it opened, Reddit was like 218, 219. The plan was to close them out, so I did, and I closed them out for 1,500%. So I got them at 40 cents, sold the last couple for $6. And then sure enough, it's 220. I'm like, oh, kicking myself. But the good thing is the plan was hold the rest of my 235s, which are free with profits. And that allowed me to kind of like take the emotion out of the trade. And then boom, Reddit's been, and unfortunately, in like I wouldn't say a sell pattern, but just the buyers are not there like they were yesterday. And because of that, it's down here at 209. So you're watching Reddit, the 50-day moving average is 208 and change, 208.37. I was thinking about it earlier. Do I add some more strikes? I'll just sit on my hands. Maybe Friday I'll look to get some more strikes here on Reddit. You know my thoughts here on Reddit. I put on the watch list. 225 was kind of like the FOMO part, right? What FOMO point? Like I think if we broke 225, I'd start looking for 280 or 300 strikes for some crazy FOMO. That didn't happen. Maybe we get that next week. My thoughts there on Reddit. So that's Reddit. And then other names, right? So I had strategy on the watch list. I don't know if I had on the watch list yesterday as well, but out there, with Pool and its pincher, here's strategy, another pincher, just monster pincher. And it's been sitting there for a couple days. And it's like a matter of time this thing starts to go. And you know the story with strategy, I've been talking about it. Like it's kind of like dislocated with crypto, right? You would think with Bitcoin, when Bitcoin bounces, strategy should be bouncing. It hasn't. So I don't know if that's a bad thing. I don't know if that's an opportunity. But finally, I was looking today and I kept looking at the strikes. I'm to 185s. They were like 80 cents. Then they dropped to 60. Then they were 90. So I was kind of frustrated because I want to be in at least some spec calls for a bounce, but I'm not going to pay 80 cents for an option, 15 bucks out of money with 2 days left to expiration. But then it started to break in the afternoon. So I started looking at the strikes. I'm like, I was thinking of getting the 210s for next week, but I figured if it breaks, I'll get the weekly strikes. So went and got those 190 strikes. Took some off as it bounced for 70% or so. Took some more out for 100%. I held the rest. So it's up here it got all the way up to 180. It's been chopping around here 177. It's up 3%. You have to, and this is some of those stories you hear, not stories, but everybody always has, every year there's some kind of conversation at the Thanksgiving table, right? I mean, a lot of times it's been political motivated, right? There's been, election season or whatever, just whatever it is. Uh, Maybe it's Bitcoin. So you have to think with its recent pull and all that stuff. Maybe it gets a Thanksgiving table bump on Friday. Uh, anyway, I even with the chart setup, I think it's setting up for a move at least to 200 in the coming. I don't know. Let's see here. I mean, it was 200 bucks earlier this week. I have to pull up the data, but only have weekly strikes. I don't know if I'll add some more on Friday, but I'll hold those into Friday. I think if it gets more mojo on Friday, it could be over 200 bucks. Those 190s obviously would be some nice bags, but already riding free with profits. So that was the plan. Stick with the plan there. And then earlier this morning, finally scaling back into some serve strikes. So I was trying to find decent risk reward ones. I was looking into January, but I started looking at December. I'm like, wow, the 12s look interesting. If there's some bounce into December. So I was looking at the December 19th, the monthly expirations, but then if you go the week before for it was like this just a nickel cheaper, I can get the same strike. So I went and got those December 12th calls and I'll hold those, right? So then well, hopefully this is the start of a bigger move. Let's see if I can pull the chart here. 200-day moving average is 1033. It's back over that 975 key support resistance line that I've had on there since the summer. If it gets continuation here, I think it can have one of those moves again. So 1375 obviously is it's a far distance here, sitting here at 1020. But if it gets mojo, we've seen what's happened in the past with serve. So I got those strikes, and then I started looking into the January strikes, and I was looking at the 14s, and then I'm like, it was like 10 cents cheaper. I'm trying to do the math in regards to how big it has to move for the calls to be multi-baggers, and I thought the 15s offered a decent risk reward, got those, and I'll just continue to hold those. And then as we start to roll up, maybe I don't know if I'm going to add some more strikes over into the weekend, but 1033 is the big spot. So if it closes over that today, which I mean we still have 32 minutes left in the day, or maybe Friday, I'll look for some further out strikes. I think it's March is the next expiration, and I'm still holding some that I added back in September. Hold on a second. Yeah, trying to pull that up. Sorry about. But anyway, so that's serve. The funny thing is, if you look at the two strikes with the huge, I think it has 13,000 in call volume today, and the two largest volume strikes is like 2,000 on one of the strikes I entered today, and 1,700 on the other. Those are not all me. I promise you, I did not I did not create that. I did not buy all those strikes. Anyway, so hopefully that's a good thing. So that's serve. And then Duolingo, right? And I've tried to, I don't know if I put it on my do not trade list, but frustrating. I traded for some nice profits but before the earnings in the summer. And then thankfully, because the premiums were so expensive, I stayed away for the actual earnings. And then, that earnings came and it was actually decent earnings, but the stock just couldn't get any love. It's up so much. It's kind of like a function of that too. So got pummeled, and now it looks like maybe it's found some support here. And I was watching in the morning, and back when I was trying to do lottos back in the summer on Duolingo, I couldn't get a strike for next week that are 10, 15, $20 out of money for the price I got. So I got those 205s, start the rally, locks them in for 100%, some more in for 100%, and then I added some higher strikes just in case there's FOMO. Again, it's one of those names, Duolingo, that the premiums are so high on the strikes that if it gets a big move, the 220s for next week are going to be up 100, 200% just as a function of that move. So that was the thought process there. And that's kind of about it. But pool's still going here. Hit 246 earlier. If I get a chance to lock some in to cover cost for 100%, I will and ride the rest. Biogen up for like the 6th session in a row. Still like that one for $200. And I think that's it, folks. Anyway, have a happy Thanksgiving. Rock and roll.